I have noticed this with great sorrow. Christianity has become a church of convenience. You choose when you want to meet God at your own convenience. That's why churches have so many multiple services today. Just pick and choose when you want to go. You know, God has appointed a day to come and meet with Him. He has appointed one day. This is what we should become. This is what the scriptures meant. Go into all the world, preach the gospel, and make disciples. Make disciples. That's our goal. Sadly, we have not reached that goal. So all church leaders, minister leaders are guilty. You agree, Jack? We are guilty of not making disciples. We have just done the first part, preaching. We do a lot of preaching, lot of teaching. What is the result at the end of the day? Lazy Christians. Lazy Christians, backboneless Christians. All that they are is the result of what came from the pulpit. So it's very important to be a disciple more than a believer. That's your calling. Every believer is called to be a disciple. A disciple is a practitioner, not just a hearer. That's what a disciple is, a practitioner. You practice what you have heard. You put into practice. If you learn about prayer, you put them into practice. You learn about waiting on God, you put into practice, and you practice waiting on God. You go to a meeting to have an encounter with God, you practice that an encounter. Nothing happens overnight. You pursue till you get it. You don't fall short of what you are pursuing. Keep on pursuing until you are found. Every man and woman of God whom you highly admire, either for their spiritual stature or for all the wonderful works that God is doing through them, did not happen overnight. Just recently, I've been reading about the life of Brother A.A. Allen. And I read, before he broke out into a greater signs and wonders ministry, where great, awesome miracles of the unimaginable kind took place in his life or in his ministry, he came to a period in his life where he felt that he was dry and empty. But before that, there was still miracles taking place. Just the ordinary kind, headache, leg pain, hand pain, stomach pain, these kind of rudimentary pains. You get healed and we call them great miracles and we publish them in our newsletters and we call the cameras to focus on the hand pain. This is what we are so proud of today. Anyway, Brother Allen was not satisfied with all that. He wanted something more because he read in the scriptures, and the Lord Jesus Christ healed them all, not some, and all manner of sicknesses, all manner of diseases. That's what the Lord Jesus did, and we have been sent out by the Lord to heal the sick, cast out demons, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead. So why all these are not happening? That was his question. So he wanted that. So he told his wife, I'm going to lock myself in my room and seek God until I hear him. I'm not going to come out at all. And after several days, he lost count how many days. He had no food. I do not know whether he drank water or not, but he never came out of his closet until he saw the glory of God. And his life was transformed ever since after that. All the great things we hear about A. Allen today is the result of that encounter. Now, and similarly, you can read about this in Brother William Branham's life, Brother T.L. Osborne's life, and Kenneth E. Hagin's life. Every one of these men of God became who they are, a spiritual giant, whom you highly admire because they had this encounter with God. And how did they have this encounter with God? They pursued God until they met with Him. What's the difference between them and us? The difference is this: we like those things, but we don't pursue. We just like. We like. So therefore, we are contented with second-hand blessing. What you are getting, or what you are enjoying, is second-hand blessing. You're not getting the first-hand blessing. You are just eating crumbs that fall down from the master's table. And I know who eat those that? Who eat those crumbs? It's the dogs. But that's not the place for the children. That's the dog's place. The children sit together with the master and eat from the master's table. Not crumbs, the whole loaf. So why don't we want the whole loaf? And why are we just settled for the crumbs? Please ponder this. All our Christian life, that's what we have been doing. Eating crumbs. What do I mean by eating crumbs? When you go to this conference, when you go to that conference, and you're just satisfied with what another person is saying to you. And you don't want to practice what we learn. Practice what we are hearing. Pursue until you meet with God. It may take long. How long? Long. How long? Long. How can you define long? Please tell me. Long is long, right? Long is long. Last year, I was speaking at a church, and a man came to me. He said, I've been having these wonderful encounters with God. My experiences are very similar to you, but I'm not satisfied with that. I want more from God. So I've been waiting on God. So God told me, wait on Him. So I've been waiting for 3 years now, but I'm not having greater encounter. So what's the problem? Why isn't God meeting me? So I asked him, what exactly did God tell you? He said, God told me to wait. So do. Simple, isn't it? Just do that. But it's been 3 years. Did God put a timetable for you? If God says wait, you wait. It doesn't matter how long. You wait. You wait. See, this is the problem. So what's your problem? What's our problem is simply this. This is one of the good points that our brother Jeremiah touched last night. We come to God with what do I get from waiting on you? Instead of just simply sit in the presence of God to minister to Him. Without any agenda. Without any expectation. Just loving Him for who He really is. Just loving Him. Why can't we do that? We can't do that. Reason number one, we are lazy Christians. Reason number two, we have a drive-through mentality. See, all our lives, we are driving through McDonald's, we are driving through KFC, we are driving through this, we are driving through that, all drive-through. You eat on the go. So in the same manner, you come to God, you want to drive through God. Do they ever have a drive-through church? Sooner or later they will have that. Drive-through church. You pass by a church, hear a song on the way, and then when you come around the block, churches should have speakers all behind their parking lot. They drive through, hear one song, and before they leave the church out, they hear one sentence from a sermon. Drive-through church. And before they leave the parking lot, there is an offering box. Drop some coins and you go out. Sooner or later they may have that, because Christianity, listen everybody, I have noticed this with great sorrow. Christianity has become a church of convenience. You choose when you want to meet God at your own convenience. That's why churches have so many multiple services today. Just pick and choose when you want to go. You know, God has appointed a day to come and meet with Him. He has appointed one day. 3 times a year, all males should come and present themselves before God. Once a week on the Sabbath day, they all come and present themselves before God. God's appointed day. You don't pick and choose. No, I want Sabbath day, I'll go another day. And not this time, I'll go another time. No. You can worship God any time, but there is one God-appointed time. We come to worship them. Not just convenience. We must come back to true relationship with God.